I'm here to read you chapter 11 of Toby. And yes, my hair does look different, doesn't it? You figure out what color that is? Yeah, it's kind of like, that. Right there. Silver. I did it silver. It's still wet, though. Okay. Chapter 11. I brought the ball back to the man while he and Fran talked. The little kids seemed to be begging him for something. Just like my brothers and sisters and I used to beg and whine for milk from my mother when we were hungry. Please, Dad, can we please? Let's take Toby. They kept saying. I knew they were talking about me, so I licked their ankles and knees and anything else I could reach. Well, I'll think about it, the man said. That's all I can say. Today is not a good day to decide anything. But I'll give it a lot of thought. My new friends didn't stay long after that. Once they'd gone, Dorothy came out in her wheelchair and threw the ball for me a few more times. That was fun. It was nice to have so many people who wanted to play. Mona had to leave then. Swimming lesson, she said to me. We'll do more work tomorrow, okay, Toby? You're a good dog. You did good today with those kids. She kissed me goodbye and then she went away. I wandered around to see if I could find Eddie and some bacon. No luck. But a few of my other friends had treats for me in their pockets or in little dishes next to their beds. Delicious. I stopped by the door of a room I had not been inside very often. I did not quite understand what people did in here. Sometimes they lay on tables and pulled at ropes that were attached to heavy weights. Sometimes they perched on odd machines and turned pedals with their feet. Sometimes they even sat on the floor and moved their arms and legs around. It looked like playing, but as far as I could tell, they were not having fun. Today, I caught a familiar scent as I stood by the door, so I hurried in to investigate. That's the cat in the background. Sorry. I lost my spot. Oh, there it is. Granddad and Tyler. Granddad was leaning on the bars of his metal cage next to a very large contraption. It was a long, thin, flat surface, sort of like a table, but only a few inches above the ground. I sniffed at it. It smelled rubbery. Some bars stuck up from one end with handles to hold. I wondered what it was doing there and why Tyler and Granddad were both looking at it. Why do people spend so much time looking at things they cannot play with or eat? Granddad was frowning. His shoulders were hunched up a little. I recognized what his body was saying. He looked like I felt when Mona wanted me to do training, and I would rather play. Tyler was standing nearby. Come on, Granddad, he begged. Was Tyler trying to make Granddad do training? He needed some treats. That would help. I've got better things to do than walk and go nowhere. It's boring. So you're bored for 5 minutes, Tyler said. Please, Mom said you have to. I don't want to do what your mother says, young man. Just 5 minutes? Granddad snorted. 1 minute. That's it. Then you and your mother stop pestering me. He put the walking cage to one side. Tyler took it and moved it away a little bit. Then Granddad stepped on the flat rubber surface. I was about to leave since no one had any treats or chicken there, but then something remarkable happened. The surface Granddad was standing on started to move. I was so surprised that I barked at it. Tyler laughed a little. Granddad looked down and smiled briefly. His feet were moving. He was walking but not going anywhere. This was strange. I need to find out more. I jumped up on the black surface right behind Granddad. It moved underneath me. I stared down at it in astonishment, and then suddenly I was falling. I plopped down on the carpet behind the contraption, and Tyler laughed more, and even Granddad chuckled. He was not quite so grumpy about his training now. I did not like being dumped off like that. I jumped right back up behind Granddad, trying to catch up with his feet. It was hard. Every time I thought I'd made the surface pull me back. Quickly, I learned that I had to keep my feet moving. If I did that, I didn't get whisked away and deposited on the carpet. It was a little like running with Tyler and the boys, except we weren't outside and with all the good smells. Still, it was fun. Granddad was walking, and I was walking. We were walking together. I barked up at him, and he laughed. Good dog, Toby, Tyler said. What's going on in here? Said a voice behind him. I looked over. There was Fran. I could not spare her much attention, though. If I stopped concentrating on my feet, I started to glide away from Granddad. Toby's doing the treadmill with my grandfather. They've been on there 10 minutes already. 10 minutes? Really? She sounded surprised. Enough, Granddad said. He was starting to breathe heavy, just like Tyler did when we ran. The black surface under our feet slowed down and stopped. I guess that meant we were done. Good boy, Toby. Maybe we should get on the treadmill with him every time. Well, it's more interesting with Toby. After that, I did treadmill with Granddad most days. When my friends saw us playing, they wanted me to do treadmill with them too. I'd walk with lots of people, the surface moving under us. Sometimes I'd even wait by the machine until a friend came along. Want to walk, Toby? They would say and get on with me. I liked doing treadmill. It was almost as much fun as bringing the ball back to Dorothy or playing chase in the halls with Mona. Sometimes Fran came to watch me. She'd stand with her arms folded as I trotted along next to my friends. As I lay in my bed at night, though, I wondered about all the games I played. When I walked on the treadmill with Granddad, I felt like his dog. When I chased the ball with Dorothy and stroked my ears, I was hers. When Tyler and I ran with the other boys, it was like I was his. Most often, I was Mona's dog when we did training or played chase, but it didn't seem right for me to belong to all these people at once. A dog was meant to be with people. I knew that deep down. That's why we left our first families. Dogs and people are supposed to be together. But how could I belong to one person after another? Whose dog was I really? Granddad or Dorothy? Mona's? Tyler? Patsy? When I lay there in the dark, these thoughts would begin to bother me as much as my feet used to. Then I'd hop up and go out in the dimly lit hall. It could be hard to find a friend at night. The room with the couches and the black box with pictures on it was always quiet and empty. So was the treadmill room, and lots of doors were closed. I'd wander restlessly, sniffing at each door I came to until one or another gave away under my paw or my nose. And then I'd go and see if a friend was inside. Lying on a bed, I'd hop up and curl in a ball near the person's feet, and after a while I'd fall asleep. But sleeping did not make the thoughts go away. Who did I truly belong to? Most mornings, Mona came to find me. But after the day I'd been a good dog for playing with the kids on the lawn, it was Patsy who took me out and brought me to breakfast. Then she called me to come. I trotted at her heels, and we came to a room where Mona was lying on a bed. That was funny. It was my other friends, like Granddad and Dorothy, who lay on the beds, not usually Mona. I ran up to the bed with my tail wagging. What's going on? I could smell the clean white sheets with their soapy smell, and of course the smell of Mona herself. Warm and welcoming and loving. Then my tail started to beat even faster. I could smell treats, too. Mona had treats. I jumped up on the bed and sniffed all around, trying to find them. Mona did not move. Lie still, Toby, Patsy said firmly. Where were those treats? I sniffed Mona's hands. I burrowed my nose in her clothes. Lie still. Patsy pushed on my rear so that my legs folded under me. That reminded me. We were playing training, obviously. I knew about training. I did what a person said, and then came the treats. Treats, so exciting. I was thinking so much about the treats I couldn't remember why Patsy asked me to do. Lie? I was already sitting, so I was halfway there. I stretched my front legs out. I'd done lie. Treat now? No treat. Mona still didn't move. He's not getting it. Something else? I was supposed to do something else? I drooled a little. Mona sighed. I remember Eddie's trick, and I stuck a paw up in the air. There! This time I'm sure I'd done it. But it seemed I hadn't. The smell of the treats was all around me, making me quiver with excitement. But nobody was offering me any, and Mona still wasn't moving. Why wasn't she moving? Didn't she want to play? Toby, lie! But I interrupted her. I'd remembered my last trick Eddie taught me. It was called Speak. I barked. Then I did it a few more times in case Mona and Patsy hadn't noticed. The door to our room swung open. Mona sat up on the bed. I jumped in her lap, nosing around for the treats. Was she going to keep them all for herself? So unfair. Fran stood in the doorway, looking irritated. Why is the dog barking? We were training him. He just got kind of confused. Training him? Why? You know I said he needs to go to a new home. We're just... Patsy put a hand on her shoulder. Mona wanted to keep working with him while he looks for a new home. Did you put an ad in the paper? Yes, I did. No one's called yet. Excuse me, is Toby in there? It was Tyler. He was wearing shorts and white shoes with thick rubber soles. He looked like that when he was running. Since Mona had forgotten how to do training properly, I jumped off the bed and dodged past Fran's high heels to sniff at Tyler's shoes. They smelled like rubber, dirt, and trash and all the amazing things outside. I loved his shoes. I licked them happily. Can Toby come out for a run? Tyler said, looking from Fran to Patsy to Mona. If it's okay. A run? Fran looked confused. Yeah, he runs with me sometimes. All the boys in the club really likes it when he comes. They sent me in to ask. So he runs with you? Fran gave Patsy a funny look. Would you like to keep him? She asked Tyler. Tyler dropped down to one knee to greet me. Nah, I can't. We're only staying here for the summer to be near my grandfather and the place where living says no pets. He's a great dog, though. Someday I want one like him. Too bad. But take him for a run by all means, Fran said. He seems to have plenty of energy. Mona slipped off the bed. I'll get his leash. I'll be outside stretching, Tyler said. Thanks for letting Toby come with me. He left and Mona called me to go with her. That boy, he's got a crush, doesn't he? I heard Fran say to Patsy as I followed. Mona took me outside and handed my leash to Tyler. She didn't give me a treat for doing come properly, though. Maybe she forgot because her heart was beating quickly and her face was hot as if she'd been running too. This time I ran with my leash on, which was a little different from before, but it was still fantastic. We passed so many trash cans and I barked at a cat who sped away and jumped up on the railing of a porch, and I even saw one of those bouncing animals. I'd heard Tyler call them rabbits, darting into a bush. So exciting. Tyler ran close to the other boys, and I did not have to choose between sticking with the pack and staying with my friend. I liked that. When we got back, he took me in the front door and gave my leash to Mona instead of leaving me to wiggle through the hole in the fence. Mona seemed to know what I needed. She led me straight to my water dish and watched while I gulped down half of it. It was so refreshing. Good run, Toby. But we have to keep training, she told me. Her voice was serious. We don't have much time. Let's do it again. You're a smart dog, Toby. You'll get this. I hope. I wagged for smart dog in case it was anything like good dog. Mona kept my leash on and took me down the hall. Patsy was waiting. Can we go in and see Dorothy? Mona asked her mother. She's not having a good day, Patsy answered. She's in some pain, but she does want to see Toby. It's worth a try. They took me into a room, and my friend Dorothy was lying on a bed, just as Mona had been earlier. Hi, Dorothy. Do you want to see Toby? Could he lie with you a little bit? Yes, Dorothy said from her bed. Her voice sounded soft. I'm not sure how long he'll stay, but we'll try. He likes you. Gently, she lifted me up and put me on the bed by Dorothy's side. I sniffed her face. She smelled tired and unhappy. I remember how I'd felt when my feet had been so sore and all I wanted to do was sleep. Maybe Dorothy's feet were hurting her just like mine used to. Her soft, gentle hand came up to rub my ear with her light touch. Good boy, Toby, she said. I licked at her fingers, and then I yawned. After such a long run, my legs were tired. I curled up in a ball right next to Dorothy's side. It was good to feel her warmth along my back, just as I used to feel the closeness of my mother and my littermates when we sleep all huddled together. Look, he's doing it. Ah, good boy, Toby, I heard Mona say. I wagged once for being a good boy, and then I fell asleep. After a while, I didn't really know how long, I felt myself slowly awakening. First, my ears were aware of Dorothy's steady, slow breathing. Then my nose picked up her scent, and Mona and Patsy and Fran nearby. See? He's doing really well. Hi. Down. Dorothy was having trouble getting any rest. With Toby by her side, she just drifted right off. Huh, I heard Fran say. He's such a good boy. Mona said the words, my eyes open to take in the three. I wagged. Good dog, Toby. She pulled a bag out of treats of a pocket in her jeans, so that's where she'd been hiding them, and poured several in her palm. She offered them to me, and her voice was warm and happy. Such a good lie still, she praised me. I loved to hear her voice like that, but I had no idea why she was bringing up lie still again. I was happy to have the treats, though. After I gobbled them up, I stood on the bed and stretched. Careful, Toby. Don't wake Dorothy. She put me on the ground and I shook all over. I felt good after my long run and my nap. It was probably time to go and look for Eddie. He might have some bacon. I dodged between Fran's feet, and she let out a startled noise. Then I tore out of the room and dashed down the hall, dodging around some of my friends walking with their metal cages. "Oh, Toby," I heard Mona groan. And she played chase with me all the way to the kitchen. There you go. That was chapter 11. He was doing a little better, and then that Toby. All right. See you tomorrow with chapter 12.